Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 605. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. I'm with Connor Smith. What's up, Connor?
Hi.
All right, so I didn't get to do a Real Whovians Cast past couple of days. I just came back from YouTube vacation, so this is going to be very, very brief, guys. It wasn't really planned, but I felt I had to get it out there. As most of you guys know, and I actually, all of us here predicted he was going to stay anyway, but it was announced that Moffat is signed for Series 10 as the showrunner of Doctor Who. No big surprise. This article is coming from Doctor Who TV UK. It says Stephen Moffat will continue on for Series 10 of Doctor Who, according to an article at Wales Online. In a brief interview with the showrunner, they conclude the piece with, having just signed up for another year of Doctor Who, and with the ongoing success of Sherlock, Moffat's place in the TARDIS of broadcasting in Wales looks secure. And for that, we can really be very grateful. I know that, it was pretty obvious that he was staying. Because he still has to do Sherlock. And as I said, as long as he's doing Sherlock, he's going to be doing Doctor Who. Hey, Louie. How are you, Louie?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
All right. So, Louie, it's pretty obvious that we knew that Moffat was staying, being that he's still doing Sherlock. He's staying with Doctor Who for Series 10. Don't you agree?
He said he was going to be staying on ages ago, so
yeah.
I wasn't shocked.
We all weren't shocked, because why leave Doctor Who if it's an extra paycheck if you're staying there to do Sherlock? It doesn't make any sense to just leave. I mean, if you're working two jobs, and why would you give up one job and a whole paycheck if you're both in the same area? That's just silly. So I don't see him leaving even in Series 10, to tell you the truth. I see him staying on because they did announce a Sherlock Series 5. So I would say that he would leave probably, he wouldn't leave Series 10 or 11, to tell you the truth.
Well, his writing's got better in Series 8,
right.
with Listen, obviously, so if it improves even more, you never know, he might be writing some good series, and the show might get another further 5 years after he leaves.
Right, well, the show is extended till 2020, so even if he does leave, it's still going to be secure till 2020. But exactly. If the writing's improving, there's no purpose for him to leave, and nor would anybody want him to leave.
To be honest, we need a co-writer instead of just having one single person in power at the minute. Because if you have one single person in power, it's like they're going to do things their own way, and they've got no one else to comment on things. So possibly. Is it Jamie Matheson who wrote The Caretaker, I think? He's a good writer.
Jamie Matheson is a good writer. I agree. I think that he could be showrunner, but he shouldn't be. He should not tamper with their script. He should let them go in the direction they want with the script. An example of that is Neil Gaiman's Nightmare in Silver, which just got messed up totally. And it could have been a 10 out of 10. For everybody, just like the Doctor's wife. So I'm for one want Moffat to just stay out of the scripts that his writers do, and not only do I want him to stay out of the scripts, but I want him to. I mean, I can see if he has to add a line related to the story, but I want him to not tell the writers what to write. I don't want him to be like, okay, you're going to write a shrinking episode. You're going to write this. I want them to have their imagination where they could just. Like Mark Gatiss wants to do a Robin Hood. Okay, he got to do Robin Hood, but I think half the times they're telling the writers what to do. I think they should just go off on their own direction. And I got to say, I'm very scared to do with this two-part Zygon episode.
Yeah.
I don't want Osgood to be a Zygon in this episode. I'm not going to be happy if that's going to be the resolution.
I don't. Well, with the Zygons, the living counterpart of who they appear to be has to be alive, and obviously Osgood's dead, so if Osgood's dead,
Hello? Hello? Okay, for some reason Google kicked us out. I hope this nonsense isn't started again. All right, I did have problems with Google in the past where that happened. All right, so if you guys can hear me, there's been planning a big cliffhanger for Series 9. Peter Harness has talked a little about the upcoming two-parter. It's unbelievable to be bringing Zygons back. And also Osgood as well, fan favorite. He adds, it's a privilege telling a story about these two, and I think it's quite an exciting story as well. Unfortunately, I've got two fan favorites in my hands now, which can only set me up to disappoint people. He concludes, I tried to do the biggest cliffhanger I possibly could. So that's basically it. Again, if she can't be a Zygon, because if she's a Zygon, then that would mean that the real Osgood's alive. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully, let's have an open mind. Let's see what happens. But I'm kind of a little worried about it. Connor Smith, are you there? Okay. All right. On that note, very brief to the point. We got Osgood back, of course. We've got Moffat Series 10, probably more than that. Connor, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so whether she's a Zygon or not, that means that she's alive anyway, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we'll see what happens. But again, this would probably be considered a mid-season finale because it's not the actual finale. So that's exciting. I did like it when they did stuff like that. But when it was split, they had like those little cliffhanger things, so that was pretty cool. This time, there's not split, so we'll see what happens. All right, Connor Smith, anything else you want to add?
Well, I was actually thinking this would be an interesting topic to bring up here. Like a few months back, Moffat said the next Doctor may be a woman.
Right.
And I was just thinking about the next Doctor, and I've ruled out 3 actors that I think deserve to play the Doctor.
Right.
So I'd just like to bring those up now.
Yeah.
If they were to do like a cinematic Doctor Who series, I do like Daniel Craig as James Bond, and I think he's a good actor, and he could play Doctor, I reckon. Then Idris Elba, who plays Luther, and obviously loads of other characters, he would be a good Doctor. And then Martin Freeman, that's the name. Yeah, I think he'd be a good Doctor, yeah.
Interesting.
Do you have any ideas for who could play the Doctor?
In a movie, I would want to see, if they had to do a movie about it, I would want to see Robert Downey Jr. because he is a Doctor Who fan, and he's watched Doctor Who, so he knows about Doctor Who. But I would hope they would do, younger, like could be younger. But I would actually, for the movies, I would really want David Tennant, to tell you the truth. David Tennant and Matt Smith, because with the movies, the possibilities are endless. You could have episodes in between. So, yeah, I would want them to come back. David Tennant in a movie. I would say, being that Doctor Who is on Disney XD now, with David Tennant, we're going to have a whole new bunch of fans coming out. And I believe that if you did a David Tennant movie, it could be like a trilogy, and you could have all the past Doctors or, future Doctors. So, I mean, you can have the 11th, you got a 12th. So I think David Tennant would be the choice to do a movie.
Yeah. I think they should do, like, a Doctor Who story before the Doctor became the Doctor. Before William Hartnell.
Oh, when he's young? You mean young?
Yeah, like a trilogy leading up to An Unearthly Child. And then the last of the films would lead to him stealing the TARDIS, and then it'd just set into that episode, and then they'd be done.
Right.
I think they could do an origin story for Doctor Who.
I kind of like want to stay away from the origin story, because the whole thing with Doctor Who is the mystery of what the hell, who he is, and what's going on. So certain things I feel shouldn't be said, because then if you have too much about the character, then it's boring. I mean, the one thing about, but yeah, that could work if they, depending on if they can't, as long as they did it where you still didn't know who he was, and not that anybody in Gallifrey knew who he was either. because
Yeah.
then it would work.
If they could do what in Man of Steel, they never actually call him Superman. They
Right.
just call him Kal-El.
Right.
So if they could do that, so they don't actually call him the Doctor, or they don't actually give him his name,
Right.
they could just, you know.
Never know.
Suppose.
Could be.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Hmm.
All right, guys, that's been it for the Real Whovians cast. Stay tuned for more podcasts, probably tomorrow. All right, maybe today if there's time. Take care. Bye for now.